So South Park is like a very high cultural level. Have you ever had a more cherished credential in your pedigree than being on there? Maybe if they asked you to host Saturday Night Live.
Look, I think the South Park parody, I guess you call it, was, look, it's in bad form, especially right now. I know the secretary announced today we're up over 830% increase on assaults on ICE agents. Now we're up over 1,000%. It's just you know, the rhetoric against ICE continues, and to make a joke out of ICE agents and what they do, and it's just. For that small percentage on the left, you know, a lot of the left don't like what ICE does, but there's a small percentage that take it too far, and whether it's throwing Molotov cocktails or threatening ICE agents or putting hands on ICE agents, they feel emboldened the more and more they see this bad rhetoric coming out. So I thought the parody was just in bad form, and certainly bad timing.
Because of what's going on in the country. You and I have talked about it. We cover it here. Should be zero tolerance as far as I'm concerned. I get why people think it's menacing for men and women to have masks on, but if you're doxing their families, I mean, you know, what do you expect? They're all willing to put their lives on the line on first responders. We've all seen it. But they don't put their families' lives on the line. And I don't think it's fair to expect them to do otherwise. Now, here's the reverse metric. What do you know about recruitment at ICE?
Look, you know, I said, you know, over 3 months, no longer now. It's actually right after Trump took the Oval Office. I literally had I had a LinkedIn account, right? I had to shut it down because I just got thousands and thousands of contacts. I want to be an ICE agent. I want to be a Border Patrol agent. I retired. I want to come back. I just got out of the military. I would love to work for ICE or Border Patrol. Retired guys out of the military, police officers, retired officers, retired military, retired Border Patrol agents, retired ICE agents. I literally had to shut it down because I was getting thousands. So we had a lot of people willing to step up and do this job, even though it's a dangerous job, very controversial job, as you know. But there's no lack of interest in coming back and working for Border Patrol or ICE. Last month, Border Patrol had a record number of recruiting numbers, the highest the agency's ever seen. So there's no shortage of people that want to come and join the ranks.
What do you think it's about?
Pardon me?
What do you think it's about? Why do you think there's a bump in recruitment?
I actually think there's a lot of American people out there that got sick and tired of the last 4 years. Every day you turn the TV on, there are literally thousands of illegal aliens coming to the border, literally thousands of illegal aliens being released into the United States in violation of federal law, thousands coming in through the airports, through the CHNV program, Cuba, Nicaragua, Haiti, Venezuela, and most of those people weren't even coming from those countries. Thousands coming through a port of entry on CBP One app. And I think the American people has got sick and tired of the Border Patrol not being able to do their job, or ICE not being able to do their job. I think the reason there's so much shock from the left is before 4 years, ICE wasn't able to do their job because Secretary Mayorkas told ICE, you can't arrest somebody for simply being here illegally. They got to be convicted of a serious crime. So ICE wasn't doing their job. Border Patrol, I walked on the border a dozen times. I talked to hundreds of Border Patrol agents. They felt like Uber drivers. They felt like tourist agents because they weren't enforcing the law. They're processing somebody, taking them to the airport. They get a free airline ticket to the city of their choice, get a free hotel room, get 3 meals a day, get free medical care. So I think the American people are fed up. You know, illegal aliens in New York City in a hotel room at $500 a night while we got homeless veterans on the street. I think the American people got fed up, and now that President Trump's back in office, they want to come in and help fix a broken system.
Let me ask you something. And again, for the people at home, it's not like Tom's my uncle, but he does not set the parameters of all policy. He gets given it and he puts it and he executes it. So we had talked last time about whether or not there was overreach and what the priorities were in the context of what the president had said, which is that he was getting contacted by major employers who were saying they needed these people. Now we see, again, that community, specifically farms, saying productivity has dropped because of psychology surrounding potential raids and the people who've been taken by raids. Have you heard anything about adjusting policy to make more discerning choices about what type of illegal entrants are the focus?
Well, first of all, let's talk about the president's policy, because I'm reading a lot of media stories that are saying most of the people ICE arrests are not criminals. Most of the people in ICE detention aren't criminals. And that's just false. Every morning, the first thing I do is look at over 20 pages of data for the last 24 hours. And the last time I looked at the data, which was this morning, 68.7%, so 70% of everybody we arrest is a criminal. Fact. Who are the other 30%? A lot of them are significant threats to like the 300 Iranians we arrested in the last couple of weeks. They might not have a criminal history, but they're a national security threat. So we got to take them in custody, take them off the street. A lot of them are gang members, and as you know, many gang members don't have a criminal history, but they're gang members. They're a threat to the community. And who are the rest of them? Many of them are final orders. These are people who had due process at great taxpayer expense. They were ordered removed by a federal judge and didn't leave, so they became a fugitive. We have to execute those orders. That is our job. And if we don't, we send a message to the whole world: enter the country legally. It's a crime. Don't worry about it. Show up in court or don't show up in court. Get an order removal. Don't worry about it. No one's looking for you. Well, that's not a message we can send to the whole world. So ICE is doing exactly what President Trump says they're doing. 70% of them are criminals. Then the rest are national security threats and final orders, first of all. For the second of all, on the farms, I'm not going to get ahead of the president on this, but the president's been pretty clear. He wants to do something for the farms. So, I'll see what comes out of that. I know there's people having discussions at the White House, so we'll see what comes out. But I think the president's been clear. He's looking how can he help the farms. So we'll see what comes out of it.
All right. Mr. Homan, thank you for coming on to explain the job. I appreciate you taking the opportunity.
Thanks for having me, Chris. I appreciate you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.